Partie 2, leçon 1, se présenter. Welcome back to Core French Conversations with Madame Hamilton. We all know that starting a conversation normally begins with some type of greeting. So in French, we have various ways of saying hello or greeting someone. If you wanted to say good morning or just a simple hello, you probably know this one already. It's bonjour. Let's say you wanted to be a little more informal and you just want to say hi. Then you could say salut. Another way to say hello, which would also be informal, would be coucou. It could be spelled C-O-U-C-O-U or K-O-U-K-O-U. And let's not forget the simple allô, which you would likely hear if someone was answering a phone. Allô, which means hello. Now, what are the ways of saying goodbye? I'm sure you've heard this one before. Au revoir simply means goodbye. À bientôt, which means see you soon. À tout à l'heure, see you later. À demain, some say à demain. It really depends on where you're located and where you're speaking French. The accents can vary. But à demain means see you tomorrow. À la prochaine means until next time. And we've heard this one before. We've used it to say hi, but we can also use it to say bye in an informal manner, as mentioned before. Salut. And this one is really neat. It's borrowed from the Italian language, and it's also informal. Ciao, which means bye. If you do not expect to see someone for a lengthy period of time, then you may want to say farewell, which is adieu. We also have two ways of saying see you later. One is more formal than the other. Can you guess which one is informal? À plus. And we also have à plus tard. Now pause here to enjoy a game of Kahoot and test your knowledge. How much can you remember regarding salutations and farewells? The link is in the description box. Enjoy! If you're wondering about ways to start a conversation in French, you might start out with Bonjour, je m'appelle, which simply means hello, my name is. Or you could say Salut, moi c'est. And you hear that salut, so you know that this statement is a little more informal. Hi, I'm. Now this one is a little more sophisticated. Enchanté de faire votre connaissance. Nice to meet you. You could start out by saying je suis. I am. Now, if you wanted to add to your conversation, you might want to start talking about where you're from. Perhaps you want to tell someone what city or town you're from, so you'd start that statement with je viens de. I come from. Or perhaps you're having a conversation about the school that you attend. So you could say, je suis étudiant or je suis étudiante. Can you think of a reason why we would say étudiant or étudiante with emphasis on that last T? I'm going to leave that up to you to do some research. But it basically means I am a student. both versions meaning the same thing but pronounced differently for a specific reason. So that's your homework. Now, you might want to tell someone about the type of job that you do. So you could say, Je travaille comme. I work as. The conversation may be one about your interests and hobbies. So you might say, Je suis passionné par. I'm passionate about. Or you could be explaining why you're at a certain location. Je suis ici pour. I am here for. I'm guessing this is the part that you've been anticipating. And it's just having a conversation, a simple conversation to introduce yourself. So let's begin. And can you figure out what each of these words and phrases mean? Salut! Bonjour! Comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci. Et toi? Ça va très bien, merci. Comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Maya. Qui es-tu? Moi, c'est Gavin. Comment appelle ton prénom? Gavin. Enchanté. Ravi de faire ta connaissance. À plus tard. À la prochaine. Are you ready to dissect the conversation? Let's begin. You can probably tell me what salut means. You learned it at the beginning. You've played the Kahoot game. It's an informal greeting, and it just means hi. Based on that introduction to this conversation, you can probably guess that these individuals are acquainted with each other, but they don't know too much about each other. So the conversation will not be too formal. And the response, bonjour, simply means hello. It could also mean good morning. Now, what could this next part possibly mean? Comment ça va? So you see that's a question. Think about a conversation that you'd have in English. What would be your next statement or question after saying hello? That's right. How are you? So, comment ça va means, how are you? And think about what your answer would be. That should help you figure out what ça va bien, merci, et toi means. I'm fine, thank you, and you? And of course, there's a response to that. Ça va très bien, merci. Now, the previous response was ça va bien. So I'm fine. This one, we have ça va très bien. What could that mean? I'll leave that one to you to figure it out. Now we're moving on to another question. Let's say you did not know someone's name. You may be in the same class. You've seen that student a few times. It's the beginning of the school year, and you've forgotten their name. What would your question be? That's right. What's your name? So we would say, comment t'appelles-tu? We could also say, comment tu t'appelles? Both the same question, worded differently. And the response in this case is, je m'appelle Maya. Je m'appelle. If we wanted a word-for-word translation, it would basically be, I call myself Maya. But we normally don't say that. We normally say, my name is. So, je m'appelle replaces my name is. Qui tu? This is a bit informal. Qui tu? Who are you? Is the question. If it were more formal, we might say, et comment t'appelles-tu? Or, comment tu t'appelles? Moi, c'est Gavin. So Gavin is just basically saying, me, it's Gavin. And then Maya follows up with a question. Comment appelle ton prénom? Now think about it. Gavin responds by spelling his name. So what could that question be? Comment appelle ton prénom? How do you spell your first name? And Gavin spells it. Gavin. enchanté. Enchanté meaning nice to meet you, delighted. Enchanté almost sounds like enchanted in English, doesn't it? Now the response is ravi de faire ta connaissance. Another way of saying it's nice to meet you or delighted to meet you. À plus tard. We know what that means. À la prochaine. We also know what that means. Félicitations! You now know how to greet in French. You know how to say your farewells. And you have one conversation in your pocket. So get out there and have a conversation with someone. But before you do that, let's listen to the song.
Qui es-tu, dis-moi, qui es-tu? Salut, bonjour, je suis là, c'est tout. Dans le parc, on joue et on rit. Un ami, c'est un trésor, tu sais, c'est joli. Comment ça va? Dis-moi, ça va bien? Ça va très bien, merci. Et toi, petit copain? Les jours passent, on s'amuse ensemble. Avec des jeux et des rires, nos cœurs tremblent. Qui es-tu, dis-moi, qui es-tu? Salut, bonjour, je suis là, c'est tout. Dans le parc, on joue et on rit. Un ami, c'est un trésor, tu sais, c'est joli. Comment t'appelles-tu? Dis-moi ton nom. Je m'appelle Maya, viens chantons. Et toi, ami, quel est ton prénom? Moi c'est Gavi, viens faire un tour allons. Qui es-tu, dis-moi, qui es-tu? Salut, bonjour, je suis là, c'est tout. Dans le parc, on joue et on rit. Un ami, c'est un trésor, tu sais, c'est joli. Comment épelle ton nom, dis-moi. G-A-V-I-N-C, comme ça. Enchantée, je suis très contente, ravie de te connaître, c'est une belle rencontre. Qui es-tu, dis-moi, qui es-tu? Salut, bonjour, je suis là, c'est tout. Dans le parc, on joue et on rit. Un ami, c'est un trésor, tu sais, c'est joli. À plus tard, disons-nous au revoir. À la prochaine, on se reverra, c'est sûr. Dans ce monde, on s'amuse et on chante. Avec des amis, la vie est si charmante.